Hi guys and welcome. These are your handover videos for your Sterling Eccles quartz. These are essentially a walkthrough video showing you how to set up and operate the caravan. So starting off at the front, you've got your hitch head here with black lever. You have to have your black lever up, then wind down your jockey wheel onto your tow ball, and then that will snap that down, push up this red button and expose a green ring. Got your handbrake just here, and then you have a 13-pin electric. So if your car does have 7-pin adaptation, make sure to bring yourself an adapter prior to collection. Then you've got your jockey wheel on the side. 2 points either side and 2 points at the back. You have your insert for your legs. Now for your legs, the caravan does come supplied with a leg winder, or you can get yourself a 19mm drill bit and a power drill and just wind them down a bit easier. However, do not attempt to jack up or level the caravan with the legs. First level using the jockey wheel and then put down all 4 corner steadies. Now we are using test equipment today, so opening up the gas locker just here, you can see you've got a red propane bottle with an in-date gas hose connecting onto that regulator. Once both sides are firmly connected, twist the gas on in the positive direction until you can't twist it anymore, and that will begin to feed gas through into the caravan. Then on the other side here, just shut off my phone, you have first your flue. Now your flue has this plastic cover, and what this is for is when you're using gas, it's getting clean air in and out of the boiler. Don't have to do anything with it once the plastic cap is off. Travel with the plastic cap on, but just make sure it's nice, clean and tidy. Next you've got your water pump. So just remove that for a second. A little bit awkward with one hand. There you go, right hand dominant. Right, so water pump itself, you press in on the trigger to be able to pull it out and just push in to feed it in. Have this plastic cap to go over the top of the acroll to make sure no nastiness gets in, and then at the bottom you can see you've got your strainer. Now it's very crucial that the strainer sits at the bottom of the barrel, as otherwise it will just gas through air and ultimately just lead to coughs and splutters. So make sure that it's sat at the bottom of the barrel. Now you can see it does have a little bit of a tendency to curl up, so make sure you do straighten it out prior to use, as otherwise the strainer will not sit at the bottom. Lift that in, push in, just like so. Then just next to it, you've got your battery locker. Now that's where the battery would sit. This example doesn't have a battery fitted. And then you've got your plug-in for your mains just there. Mains just plugs in, nice and simple. Motor mover we will go over on collection. And then lastly, got your toilet function. So first bit is these 2 bits underneath. That's where your wastewater will come out of. You'll need 28.5mm waste pipe to then feed into a waste master that you can then empty out at the appropriate point on site. That comes from your shower and your sink. Then you've got your cassette toilet just here. So remove the cassette toilet, press up on the handle, pull out just like so, but make sure that the toilet's shut. Pull out just like so, lift up the handle, pull it out, and you can also extend out just like that to make it a bit of a carry-on suitcase almost. And then once you're at your emptying point on site, twist that head to the side, open up the cap just like so, and you need to tilt. At the same time as tilting, continually pressing the button to vent. Now you can also add a little bit of fluid in afterwards, give it a little bit of a shake and empty it out just so it smells a bit fresher. Then on this cap here you have measurements in both imperial and metric. That is for your blue chemical. Blue chemical goes into that cap, onto there, twist the head to the side, push that back in just like so, so that the orange handle sits behind those white teeth, because then it can't be removed. And above you've got your flush tank. This can hold 12 litres of water, however I wouldn't recommend putting in any more than 10 as you don't want it to overflow. And you can also add a little bit of pink chemical which works as a bleach without being corrosive. Now you don't want to travel with either of these two full, so to fully empty the flush tank It's the little black lead here. Open it up and drain off any remaining water. The caravan itself will be fully drained off before you leave with it. Then underneath your right hand side bed you have all of this, so I wouldn't recommend storing anything underneath here. Then you've got your boiler just here leading to this yellow tap. Now that is your drain valve. So drain valve, when it's in the horizontal position, allows water to flow through. Flick it up, that drains off any water inside the system. Anytime you come off site, flick it up in the drain position, as you don't want to travel with water inside the system. And November to March, keep it up permanently, as you don't want the pipes to freeze over and burst. As I said, it will be fully drained off when you leave. This blue box here, that is your brain box for your motor mover. Don't have to do anything with that. And then you've got your battery charger just on the side here. Then just here you've got your main control panel. Turn this on, press power in just there. You can see right now that it shows the leisure battery voltage. Now that is with the mains plugged in. When you're plugged in through just the battery itself, it will show the amount of charge in the battery. You can view that by either pressing in on the dials or pressing view level. You can see as well, charge is coming into the caravan. So when you're plugged in with your car, it will show car plugged in there. Then you've got water pump just here. Press in water pump, and you'll gradually begin to hear the water get sucked through from the water pump. Make sure you have your drain valve in the correct position. Then you come over to your taps. Now, as I've just turned this on, it might have a cough and splutter, but what I'd say, wait 2 to 3 minutes, and what you're looking for is a nice steady continuous stream. Let it run for about 30 seconds. Whenever you draw any water out, you'll hear it suck through and replace it. But yeah, wait 2 to 3 minutes, come over, and you'll get that nice strong stream. Then we've got your hob, grill and oven. So to turn this on, twist the dial, press it to the side and press in on the igniter, similar to any sort of gas cooker that you might have at home. Now what I'd say, when you initially get plugged in with gas, this is the first thing I would check. It may be a case that when you initially turn it on, especially if you haven't used it in a little bit of time, it might cut out after a second, but just refresh it and it will come back to it. But this is what it looks like when they're lit. As you can see, nice blue clean continuous flames. Only other difference, you've got an electric plate, just twist that to the correct mark. Don't put down that glass sheet until all of these are cold to the touch. Now, let's see if I'm trick and see if I can do these other two with one hand. And there you can see the grill. I'll shut that down there. And there you can see the oven. But yeah, make sure to turn off your gas before you start touring as well. Then we have your fridge operation. So turning on the fridge on and off, use that button there. Then this button here is for your source. So right now I'm on gas. Press it in, goes over to mains. Press it again, goes over to battery. Now that battery is not leisure battery, that is your car battery. So it's going to come up with an error code, which you just saw there. And on the side, you've got your temperature amount, goes up to a maximum of 5 being the most powerful, so it's going to chill it the quickest. Now for gas, it will gradually begin to tick in. Then once it's finished ticking, that means it is then lit. And to turn it off, press and hold on this button here. No more blue light there, no more screen, all off. Then for your heating system, so you've essentially got to work through these three. So up here you have your trips and fuses. All your trips, all your fuses even in the right position, and all your trips in the upright position. You can see space heater and charger are both ignited, meaning they're both working. Then you have a reverse polarity button just here. Now you also have a water heater button just here. Press that in. That will then heat the water inside the system through your mains. However, you come down here. If you wanted to heat it through gas, you flick this over onto the gas icon and then choose whatever temperature you want it to be. Now this one you do have a choice for temperature, this one you don't. That's a set temperature up there. Now this one I could go all the way from 30 to 70. Then I've got ultra heat, so this is for this part here, your radiator. So I can either run 2000, 500 or 1000 watts, and then again I've got a temperature dial in the middle, 9 being the hottest, so it's going to get the hottest. I have the actual fan speed just here, 1 to 5, 5 being the quickest. Flick it over this side, that is manual, so it will just pump it out. Flick it over to A, and that is automatic, so it will have a steady stream, just so it's almost, well, automatic as it says. But if I wanted to run it on gas, then what I do, flick that over into the middle, come over to this point here. Now this is a self-doing thing, so let's say I want it on 5. Press that in a few times until you can stop hearing that. And then it's a little bit hard to see inside there, just because of the way my camera is. But that spyglass you can look through and see that is lit. So you have to have that twisted and then press down a few times to spark it. So quick summary, fan speed, gas igniter, 230 volt heating, gas for the heater, and water heater up there.